Guys and girls, back at it once again with another fun-filled, action-packed, non-flipped Algebra 2 classroom video. Today, we're doing Unit 3, Notes number 2, and it's going to be all about extraneous solutions. But before we get started with that, let's go ahead and express this equation, absolute value of x plus 6 equals -2 in words. Now, to do that, remember, we're going to find the center. Where's our center? The center is going to be right here. But it's not 6, remember, because our original formula is going to be absolute value of x minus the center equals the distance. Okay, you can't really, okay. X minus the center, absolute value of x minus the center equals the distance. It's x minus. We see a plus here. So our center is going to be -6. I'm going to write that off to the side here. Center equals -6. And then our distance we can see is right here, then -2. So distance equals -2. So if we wanted to express this equation in words now that we know the center and the distance, we're going to write it like this. All numbers, because that's the x, all numbers that are -2 units away from -6. That's what we're saying, right? Because our center is -6. So all of the numbers that are -2 units, our distance, away from -6 would be our answer, or x. However, does that even make sense? Do you ever tell somebody, yeah, I'm -2 feet away, I'm -2 miles away, I'm almost there, dude? We don't say that we're -2 because can an absolute value be negative? Look at this equation. We're saying the absolute value of x plus 6 equals -2. But remember, absolute value is always positive. How can we get -2? Does that even make sense? No, it doesn't! Can absolute value be, can absolute value equal a negative number? No! So now, let's get into extraneous solutions then. Extraneous solutions are extra solutions. Get it? Extraneous? Extraneous. Alright, so they aren't really solutions. Usually this comes because we have equations that look like what we just had. Absolute value equals a negative number, because that just doesn't make sense. Absolute values don't equal negative numbers. So here's the important point then. If all of your solutions are extraneous, then you have no solution. Your answer is going to be no solution. So let's take a look at some of these in some examples then. First we have, this is the exact same thing we just did up here. Look, absolute value of x plus 6 equals -2. But this time we're going to solve it. We're actually going to solve it. So let's go ahead and solve this. So remember, we're going to set up two equations, one positive, one negative. We've got x plus 6 equals -2, and then x plus 6 equals +2. All right, let's solve. So subtract 6 from both sides, and then we have x equals -8. Over here, subtract 6 from both sides. X equals 2 minus 6, which is -4. So we just found two solutions, but let's check to see if these solutions actually work. So let's plug in -8, okay? So solve for -8. So let's see. We're going to plug in -8. -8 plus 6, absolute value of -8 plus 6 equals -2. What's -8 plus 6? That's -2. Does the absolute value of -2 equal -2? No, it doesn't. What the heck? That's an extraneous solution. Because an absolute value always makes it positive. It doesn't equal a -2. Well, let's try our other solution then. We also found that x equals -4. Maybe that one's going to work. Let's see. Absolute value of -4 plus 6 equals -2. What's -4 plus 6? That's going to be +2 equals -2. And does the absolute value of +2 equal -2? No, it doesn't. You can't get a negative number from outside the absolute value. That just doesn't make sense. So we can see here we have two extraneous solutions. All our solutions, all our solutions are extraneous, which means my answer is gonna actually be no solution, no solution. And right here, I just want to show you a graphic here on the right side with this graph. So remember, we can also find our answers by graphing, okay? And watch this. Remember, we're going to graph the left side, so I'm going to graph y equals absolute value of x plus 6. And then I'm going to graph the right side, which is the negative 2, so y equals negative 2. So y equals absolute value of y equals absolute value of x plus 6 is the absolute value function moved to the left 6 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right here. Alright, so I'm just going to roughly draw this, but this is pretty much what that graph is going to look like. Okay, now y equals negative 2 is going to be the horizontal line going through y equals negative 2, which means it's a horizontal line right here. Now remember, after we've graphed both sides of our equation, our answers are the points of intersection. But do we see any points of intersection on this graph? No, we don't, and that's how you know there's no solution. There's no place that these two lines actually intersect with each other. No, there's no solution. So let's do some more examples. Example 1, solve the negative 3 times the absolute value of x minus 5 equals 12. So first of all, we want to isolate. We want to get our absolute value by itself. We can see there's that negative 3 on it. I don't want that there. How am I going to get rid of the negative 3 that is being multiplied by? We're going to divide both sides by negative 3. That leaves me with absolute value of x minus 5 equals, what's 12 divided by negative 3? That's going to be negative 4. And then let's solve this then. So we're going to have two equations, x minus 5 equals negative 4, and my other equation is x minus 5 equals positive 4. All right, let's solve. Add 5 to both sides, and then x equals negative 4 plus 5 is positive 1. Okay, and then my other equation, we're going to add 5 to both sides, and x equals 4 plus 5, which is 9. So my two solutions are x equals 1 and x equals 9, but I need to check them, so let's try this then. Remember, when we check, we're going to use this equation that we found over here. So we're going to put in 1 and 9. So we're going to have absolute value of 1 minus 5 equals negative 4. 1 minus 5 is negative 4. And does the absolute value of negative 4 equal negative 4? No, it doesn't. That's an extraneous solution. Let's check the other one. Absolute value of 9 minus 5 equals negative 4. 9 minus 5 is positive 4. And does absolute value of positive 4 equal negative 4? No, it doesn't. Once again, another extraneous solutions. All of our solutions are extraneous, which means my answer is no solution. Boom! Next up, example 2. So this one, we've got variables on both sides. That's actually okay. We still just do the same thing as always. We put two equations, one equaling the positive and one equaling the negative. So over here, we're going to have 2x plus 12 equals 4x. And then our other equation is going to be 2x plus 12 equals negative 4x. So let's solve. So over here, we're going to subtract 2x from both sides. We want to get x by itself, remember. Boom, that leaves me with 12 equals 4x minus 2x is 2x. And then we're going to divide both sides by 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6. And then we just have x over here. So one of our solutions is x equals 6. Now let's find our other solution. Over here, we're going to add 4x to both sides. 4x, 4x. 2x plus 4x is 6x plus 12 equals 0. Now I want to get x all on one side, so let's subtract the 12 from both sides. And that leaves me with 6x equals negative 12. Now let's divide both sides by 6 so I can get x by itself. And x equals negative 12 divided by 6, which is negative 2. Alright, so I've found my two answers. We got x equals 6 and x equals negative 2. Let's check to see if both of them are actually solutions now. So we're going to plug them back into our original equation up here. Okay, so here's one of my solutions. Here's another solution. So absolute value of 2 times 6 plus 12 equals 4 times 6. So everywhere we see the x, we replace it with our solution. All right, so what is 2 times 6? 2 times 6 is 12. We got 12 plus 12 equals 4 times 6 is 24. What is 12 plus 12? That is 24. And does the absolute value of 24 equal 24? Yes, it does. Okay, so one of these solutions, x equals 6, actually works. Okay, now let's check the other solution. We've got absolute value of 2 times negative 2 plus 12 equals 4 times negative 2 because my solution is negative 2. All right, what is 2 times negative 2? That's negative 4 plus 12 equals, what is 4 times negative 2? That's going to be negative 8. All right, and then what is negative 4 plus 12? That's going to be positive 8 equals negative 8. And does the absolute value of 8 equal negative 8? No, it doesn't, because we cannot get a negative number from the absolute value. Oh my goodness, so this x equals negative 2. I'm going to cross that out. That is an extraneous solution. So my only answer here is x equals 6. Next up, what is the solution of absolute value of 3x plus 2 equals 4x plus 5? And check your solutions. So you can see they worded it a little different, but we're doing the same thing. We're solving and then checking our solutions. So let's go ahead and write our two equations then. And here's the catcher right here. This time we can see we have two terms on the right side. We have 4x and we have 5. So watch this. 3x plus 2 equals 4x plus 5. That's the positive version. Now for the negative version, 3x plus 2 equals, we're going to change we're going to put the negative sign on every term. So it's going to be equals negative 4x minus 5. You see that negative goes to everything. And now let's solve. So over here on the left one, we're going to subtract 3x from both sides. That gives me, boom, 2 equals x plus 5. Then we subtract 5 from both sides. And that leaves me with 2 minus 5 is negative 3. So negative 3 equals x. So one of my solutions is x equals negative 3. All right, now let's check the other one. Over here, we're going to add 4x to both sides. Plus 4x plus 4x. Boom. That gives me 3x plus 4x, which is 7x plus 2 equals negative 5. All right, now we're going to subtract 2 from both sides. And 7x equals negative 5 minus 2, which is negative 7. Then divide both sides by 7. And x equals negative 1. So my two solutions are x equals negative 3 and x equals negative 1. So now let's check to see if both of these solutions work. So let's check negative 3 first. So we're going to plug it back into our original equation for anywhere we see x. So absolute value of 3 times negative 3 plus 2 equals 4 times negative 3 plus 5. What is 3 times negative 3? That's negative 9 plus 2 equals 4 times negative 3. That's negative 12 plus 5. Negative 9 plus 2 is negative 7 equals, and negative 12 plus 5 is negative 7. All right, does the absolute value of negative 7 equal negative 7? No, it doesn't, because it should equal positive 7. So right there, boom, this one's not right. It's extraneous. So this negative 3 equals x. That's an extraneous solution, so mark that out. Now let's check our other solution, x equals negative 1. So let's plug it in for anywhere we see x. 3 times negative 1 plus 2 equals 4 times negative 1 plus 5. All right, 3 times negative 1 is negative 3 plus 2 equals 4 times negative 1 is negative 4 plus 5. All right, what is negative 2 plus, or what is negative 3 plus 2? That's going to be negative 1. So the absolute value of negative 1 equals, and what is negative 4 plus 5? That's positive 1. So does the absolute value of negative 1 equal positive 1? Yes, it does. So our answer here is x equals negative 1. That's one solution. And now for our last and final example, here we go. What is the solution of 2 times the absolute value of 3x plus 1 equals 4x plus 8? Let's set up our two equations. Oh, whoa. We cannot set up our equation yet because I see this pesky little 2 on the left side. Let's get rid of that because we want just the absolute value. Let's divide both sides by 2. There we go. So it cancels out the 2 on the left side, leaving me with absolute value of 3x plus 1. And that equals, we're going to divide both of the terms on the right side by 2. So 4x divided by 2 is going to be 2x. And 8 divided by 2 is 4, so plus 4. And so this is the equation we're working with. An absolute value of 3x plus 1 equals 2x plus 4. Okay, so now let's write our two equations then. We've got 3x plus 1 equals 2x plus 4. My other equation, the negative version, is going to be 3x plus 1 equals negative 2x minus 4. Remember, the negative sign goes to every term on the right side. Okay, so let's solve then. Okay, we're going to subtract 1 from both sides here. Boom, that leaves me with 3x equals 2x plus 3. Then let's subtract 2x from both sides. And that leaves me with x equals 3. Okay, so one of my answers is x equals 3. Well, let's check the other answer then. So over here, we're going to add 2x to both sides to get rid of the negative 2x. That leaves me with 5x plus 1 equals negative 4. Then we're going to subtract 1 from both sides. That leaves me with 5x equals negative 4 minus 1 is negative 5. Then divide both sides by 5. And x equals negative 1. All right, so our two answers are x equals negative 1 and x equals 3. Let's check to see if both of these solutions actually work. So the equation we're going to plug it into is the absolute value of 3x plus 1 equals 2x plus 4. So let's try the 3 then. Absolute value of 3 times 3 plus 1 equals 2 times 3 plus 4. Okay, what is 3 times 3? That's 9 plus 1 is 10. And what is 2 times 3? That's 6 plus 4 is 10. So is the absolute value of 10 equal to 10? Yes, it is. So x equals 3 is one solution. All right, let's check our other solution. X equals negative 1. So the absolute value of 3 times negative 1 plus 1 equals 2 times negative 1 plus 4. Okay, what is 3 times negative 1? That's negative 3 plus 1. What is negative 3? Okay, and then what is 2 times negative 1? That's negative 2 plus 4. Now let's combine. What is negative 3 plus 1? That's negative 2. And what is negative 2 plus 4? That is positive 2. And so, does the absolute value of negative 2 equal positive 2? Yes, it does. So in this case, both of our solutions work, and our answer is x equals 3 and x equals negative 1. So in these cases, you can have two solutions. You can have one solution, you can have no solution. But that's going to end our notes today over extraneous solutions, guys. So see you in the next one. Peace!